Well, what we're seeing is a very severe mutiny. It's not yet a coup. It's not yet a civil war. These things are possible, although I think on balance unlikely. The most likely outcome for this is that Wagner will be defeated by regular Russian forces. But this is undoubtedly the most severe challenge to Vladimir Putin in 24 years of being president. So this is not some fly in the night happening here. What we are seeing is a genuinely serious distraction for a Russia which was already losing a war in Ukraine and battling a Ukrainian counteroffensive. So this is the very last thing that they want. I think it's a temporary setback. I don't think it is the end of the world for Vladimir Putin and Russia, although we don't know. There's a 20% chance, for what it's worth, that this is the beginning of the end, as the Ukrainians like to say right now. Prigozhin is not well liked by the elites. He's thought of as nekulturny, meaning uncultured, a sort of a peasant or a servant of some sort, and he is not respected. And you can't take Moscow, you can't become president if you don't have the support of various clans and power centers and levers. So all really that Prigozhin has is a reasonably well-trained, vicious, not especially well-motivated army of something less than the 25,000 that he claims. And that's just not enough to take Russia. That is a laughable supposition, to be perfectly honest with you. It's not, but it's not serious. Moscow's defenses are up. It's bracing itself. It will indeed. It'll do all it possibly can to protect Moscow. It doesn't matter if it loses the odd semi-significant town to the south. He has a lot of troops in Ukraine. And he absolutely has a personnel problem, and there's a risk of more mobilization for the war in Ukraine anyway. But he still has various defense forces in Moscow of the technical and of the physical humankind as well, not least the Russian National Guard of Rosgvardia, so which is designed for his personal protection. So I think that I don't think Moscow is not undefended. Yes, I know the odd Ukrainian drone can get through and hit the Kremlin or a tower block here and there, but that's a very different proposition to taking Moscow. Putin has all sorts of problems, but actually, on balance, you'd want to be Putin, not Prigozhin right now. Well, the Ukrainians are obviously rather enjoying this. I'm sure you've seen a great deal of satisfaction and schadenfreude that they have expressed in the past few hours. But and it is a distraction, and obviously quite on a simple, numbers level. Then, if Wagner forces have been extracted from the front line to go back into Russia itself, then that is, for every Wagner person taken out, then that's one less person for the Ukrainians to fight. And it was already true that the Russians had a lack of motivation in this fight. They didn't know what they were fighting for, especially they didn't really believe they were fighting for the denazification of Ukraine. That wasn't really fooling anybody. They tended to think that now they were in this war, they might as well win it, or even if they didn't necessarily want to be there in the first place. So that helped somewhat. But if you have a situation whereby it looks as though the seat in Moscow is wobbly or fragile, then that absolutely can't possibly help the chain of command, commanders themselves, and your average private.